Department has reported the country's first 2 cases of the Omicron COVID variant. One is a Filipino who returned from Japan last December 1, and the other is a Nigerian national who arrived on November 30. Both patients are currently asymptomatic and isolated in a facility managed by the Bureau of Quarantine. Authorities are now determining possible close contacts among their co-passengers during their flights. Let's get the latest now on COVID-19 updates from Malacanang. Maricel Halili is reporting to us live from Mandaluyong City via Zoom. Mase, good afternoon. We have status quo at alert level 2 until December 31. Is this still because of the Omicron variant? What's the latest?
Hi, Sean. Let me clarify that when IATF spokesperson, Secretary Carlo Nograles, announced that they will implement Alert Level 2, or they will still implement Alert Level 2 nationwide, there is no confirmation yet from the health department that we have 2 Omicron cases in the country. This came after the press briefing of Secretary Nograles. Having said that, Secretary Nograles actually confirmed that they are still not confident to lowering the alert level nationwide because of the threat of Omicron. That's one. And number 2, the IATF is still finalizing the guidelines for alert level 1 status. He said that once we implement the alert level 1 in any area of the country, it will simply mean that most or majority of the businesses or the business establishments will be opened. So they have to be very careful in drafting the guidelines for alert level 1.
All right. What about regarding any changes on the current travel protocols that we have in place? Have they made any changes yet?
Yes, they made changes. Yesterday, they had a meeting. The IATF members had a meeting, and they approved some changes when it comes to travel protocols. It will be implemented starting December 16 until December 31. Let me enumerate the new travel guidelines, Sean. For those returning Filipinos coming from countries that are included in the green list, they have to present a negative RT-PCR test taken within 72 hours prior to the departure from the country of origin. They are also required to undergo facility-based quarantine until the release of their negative RT-PCR test taken on the 3rd day. So this part was actually changed before. Before, it was actually taken on the 5th day, but now it will be taken on the 3rd day. After which, they shall be required to undergo home quarantine until their 10th day, with the date of the arrival being the 1st day. This is for the fully vaccinated individuals who will come from green list countries. For unvaccinated individuals or those partially vaccinated, they still have to present negative RT-PCR test taken within 72 hours prior to departure of the country of origin. They are also required to undergo facility-based quarantine until the release of the negative RT-PCR test taken on the 7th day, after which they shall be required to undergo home quarantine until their 14th day. Now, for those individuals who will come from the yellow list countries, for fully vaccinated, these are the travel requirements or the travel protocols. First, they have to present negative RT-PCR test taken within 72 hours prior to the departure from the country of origin. Upon arrival to the Philippines, they shall undergo facility-based quarantine with an RT-PCR test taken on the 5th day. Regardless of a quarantine result, they shall be required to undergo home quarantine up to the 14th day. Now, for unvaccinated or partially vaccinated, of course, negative RT-PCR is still required 72 hours prior to the departure. Upon arrival, they shall undergo facility-based quarantine with RT-PCR test done on the 7th day. Still, regardless of the negative result, they shall be required to undergo home quarantine up to the 14th day from the date of their arrival. For those individuals who will come from red list countries, well, they will not be allowed to enter the Philippines unless they are part of the repatriation effort, whether it's non-government or government initiated, or unless they are part of the Bayanihan flights. That's the only time they will be allowed to enter the country. Of course, negative RT-PCR test is still required 72 hours prior to the departure. They shall be required to undergo facility-based quarantine with swab tests taken on the 7th day. They may be discharged from the facility upon the release of the negative RT-PCR result, but shall observe home quarantine until the 14th day. That's for the fully vaccinated. For the unvaccinated or partially vaccinated individuals who come from or who will come from the red list countries, negative RT-PCR test is still required. They shall be required to undergo a mandatory 10-day facility-based quarantine with RT-PCR test on the 7th day. They may be discharged only upon completion of the 10-day facility, regardless of the negative RT-PCR test result, but they still have to observe home quarantine until the 14th day.